Here we go. He's the Knight of Death. You know him well. He's finally back to spam some spells. His lightning axe lets him dash so fast, but its standard damage, it isn't slash. DK Death Knight. DK Death Knight is here. This is the Donkey Kong rap. It's the DK rap. Remember that game? If you want to watch these runs live, follow us on Twitch. We're going to be playing more Elden Ring all the time. Join the Patreon to support the channel. These boys beat out the Black Knights and their big hammers, so if you want the polls to change, you gotta be there to vote. Finally, make sure you like and subscribe, otherwise the channel could be death tomorrow night. I don't know. Whatever, it's bone time.
It was also the night that the skeletons came to life.
This Death Knight is building off the Albinauric from last week. Imagine a being that controls the very power of death itself, cashing in that power to become a loser with lightning powers.
I think you're better than me.
I am better than you.
We gotta go through the dank light catacombs to get the armor set per the arbitrary rules I made up. Once we get a method of dealing damage, the run has started and we have to take off all the armor. Those are important rules that I made up. If I change them, people would be mad, person would be mad, one person, me, and I wouldn't be all that mad. There's a tiny little ledge you have to drop down to get the armor, then we put it on and there's nothing bad that will happen as we do that. Ow! Ow! There was an imp around the corner. Classic FromSoft joke. Back into the Fog Rift Catacombs this time. This is the one where the spikes come down from the ceiling. How did they build this place? The spike ceilings are deep underground. Did they bring spikes down piece by piece? Did they build it around the spike ceilings? Not saying that there's naturally occurring spike ceilings. Like, they built the ceilings first and then the catacombs around them. But like, if that's the case, what's the roof attached to that the ceiling is attached to? I can suspend my disbelief for undead knights who throw lightning, but I draw the line at unrealistically sadistic architecture. Also, I'm bad at jumping on them. First Death Knight has two axes, but then he grabs us. He's pulling our hair up, but not out for another chance at life. If he pulls it out, he of course turns to bones. Thankfully, we still have the Peyronie's Great Club, and it hits really hard, breaks the stance down. I love it. Time to throw it in the garbage can. Yep, your boy was a certified dingus and went for the Death Knight that drops the two axes that don't work right. Remember in the Radahn video how despite being a colossal sword, when you power stanced Radahn's sword, you get two colossal swords. But you don't get the stance pressure that you would from power stanced colossal swords, or the stance pressure you'd get from two-handing one colossal sword. Kind of a weird thing. Well, the axes work the same way, but worse, because they use the much worse power stanced axe moveset. It is one of the clunkiest movesets in the game, since you don't attack with both axes at the same time. Instead, each input makes you attack with each axe individually, or to put it another way, each input is two attacks, and you have to attack twice every time you would want to attack quickly, which isn't quick. In fact, it's half as quick, because it's twice as long. Makes you think. Respec with the stats we need. Kind of a lot of stats required for this one. The axes are basically quality weapons with added faith scaling for the lightning. The lightning spells are spells with faith scaling because they're spells. But we won't use those for a while because I didn't anticipate this would be the next run when I started the Albinauric run. I didn't grab the Gravelstone seal before ashing up that capital. We'll use it later if it's good once we can get the lightning seal. I know that if I don't 100% optimize the spell, I'll be told I didn't give it a proper shot, so we're waiting. Testing the axes against the Albinaurics while we go grab that Somberstone 10, and they don't do much at all. They're flashy, the Ashen War looks neat, but it doesn't kill a frog. And the blink bolt aspect of it forces you to space out 15 feet before you're attacking. Ugh, get good. Yeah, but like, if I have to get good, this isn't as good. If they just hit good in melee range, that's better. Like, if just the spin was all this Ash of War was, it'd be better. It's really easy to figure out. I am next to the enemy in the middle of the fight. When that enemy is moving and you need to put a basketball hoop's worth of space between you to land your fancy attack, that's worse. If you have to put effort into something to make it as good as something you don't have to put effort into, that thing is worse. It just is. Okay, Death Catacombs with Death Eyeballs. We gotta do some stealthy platforming to sneak around and grab the Knight's Lightning Spear before heading to the bottom. Now, this one has the long shaft axe, and we probably should have done him first because one long shaft is better than two short shafts. Our flasks are also low after a catacomb full of imps, so we take an L. Believe it or not, the Lightning Man resists our lightning axes. It's pretty easy to get in the back and backshot him, but it's worth noting, backshot crits do not receive set the stance pressure like a normal crit. And after each one, we get like a charged attack off. But his stance doesn't break at all in the fight. Hopefully the long shaft axe is better.
I'm long and I'm strong and I'm down to get the friction on.
That's static friction because it's lightning. There is not a Death Knight Spirit Ash, so we're gonna grab the Mimic and make one at home. All we need is some weed from the Incel Rivermain and we're good to go. By the way, no they're not. Look at this dude, you know, he bones. Alexander has the Jar Shard, and I'm sure that Ash of War on this axe is gonna be what carries us through. It's so flashy, it's so cool, it will never let me down. Let's test it out against the Magma Worm here. Nice easy Mount Gelmnir boss with our endgame build. Oh, and we got stunlocked and died. Is this gonna suck?
I think I'd like my money back.
Wait, it's only mediocre because we don't have the Jar Shard. Turning the damage up by 15% will solve all of our problems, and remember, it looks so cool. Obviously we beat Alex, it's faster than breaking all the pots in the pot room of Ocarina of Time. Then we'll head up to the eastern coast of Lernia to fight the Erdtree Avatar and get the lightning boosting physic tier. I don't know if we're gonna use the lightning X or the lightning bolts, but they've both got lightning and 20% more damage is good. It's really good. You know what else is really good though? Today's sponsor, Raycon. That's right gamers, this video is sponsored by Raycon. You've heard me talk about Raycon before, and I bet you've thought this to yourself, wait, is he saying I can get these same premium quality earbuds at half the price of the other guys? And yes, you can. Raycons come in a variety of colors to complement your skin tone or style. I personally like the purple ones because I'm from Minnesota, go Vikes. But if you're a sicko from Wisconsin, you can get them in green. I mean that with love to the sickos, of course. Our editor is from Wisconsin. God bless his heart. Raycon even lets you accessorize while you're protecting your earbuds. You can get these fancy cases. They stop the earphones from popping out. They keep them safe, shock absorbent, all that good stuff. And they come in a variety of cool colors. If you've been waiting to pull the trigger on buying some new Raycons, now is the right time. They just introduced the new everyday earbud with a perfectly comfortable ergonomic design and noise cancellation features to make sure that you're hearing what you want to hear and not hearing what you don't want to hear. 32-hour battery life means you can pop these puppies on a plane and fly just about anywhere in the world on one charge. And with spooky season coming up, I want to be listening to spooky podcasts, not the baby crying in row 3. But with these earbuds, you've got a perfect fit so you can wear them while you do anything. Doing chores, working out, going grocery shopping. Raycons are the perfect companion to bring you whatever you want to listen to throughout your day. Music, podcasts, archived speeches. If it's sound, you want to hear that sound through Raycon. Click the link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/Haight to get 15% off your order of Raycon earbuds and free shipping. Again, that's buyraycon.com/Haight for 15% off your order of earbuds and free delivery.
Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening me.
Testing against the grafted Scion at the start, damage looks great. The damage here always looks great. This is a terrible test. Like, does this store brand cola taste better or worse than the name brand? Dish soap. Bad test. We're storming the gates right away, sprinting for Margit and making sure he gets a good test of this long shaft. Works great. Takes 1, 2, 3 hits to stance break, and we win. Hey, wait, why is the fog gate still up? Oh, he's alive! Hi! I thought you fucking died. All good. Pop open the danger path and dive on through. We're already dead, guys. What danger could there be for us? Certainly not Godric the Garfield. Just keep zooming in and spamming. Can we blink jump over the earthquake? No. I'm sure you can, but I lack skill. Like, the blink bolt has iframes, but the startup frames are really slow, half as fast as a roll, I think. It all feels weird. Maybe if I used it for more than one run, I'd like it, but right now, kinda clunky. Lernia time. Gotta hit that dragon on the lake, and we have the lightning. It goes great, but no stance break while we hit the dragon head? Aren't great axes and great hammers in the same stance category? No. Let's talk about it. As it turns out, great hammers have 13 stance pressure buildup on their light attacks, as opposed to a great axe's 10. It's even more significant of a jump on the heavy attack, with 17 if you don't charge it to the 11 of the Great Axe, and 40 with the charged heavy from a Great Hammer versus the 33 with a Great Axe. If that seems like an incremental difference, it's not. It is a huge difference. I mean, think about it for the light attack. That is a 30% boost right there. That is better than the boost from the stance boosting physic tier that only lasts 30 seconds because it's so good. That means that after moving from the Great Hammer to a Great Axe, which is effectively about the same speed, it just kind of feels bad. Great Axes do get the bonus that axes do to charged attacks. If you weren't aware, axes do better with their charged attack damage, but I would much rather stop the boss from moving than deal a little more damage. Back to the run, Red Wolf of Radahn is not an issue. We trade damage and trade it well, but more interestingly, can Moongrim parry the Blink Bolt Long Shaft? It appears no. No, he can't. Renala gets bodied on the ground. Then we fight her on a lake. There's water on lakes, and water conducts electricity. It's like tar. I guess. I didn't see it. I think she's a conductor, though. And finally, we can imagine death in Fort Haight. A fort death night? A death fort night? Fort not death at the Salt Night. Congrats to the 4 people who got that joke. Your English teachers must be proud. On the way to the other Dectus piece, I bodied Grail and the Putrid Avatar just for the money. This one needs a lot of levels. Everything but intelligence and arcane. So yeah, getting extra runes, kind of important. Once our toes touch the golden grasses of Altus, we can go to the exact opposite, Caelid, and fight Radahn. The easier Radahn, the more fun Radahn. I love this Radahn. I love summoning a whole party. Honestly, my biggest hope for the next breakthrough of FromSoft games, like the next gimmick that they have, is that it's a full party RPG. Kingdom Hearts 2 and Mass Effect 2, some of my favorite games, and they're not easier because you have squad members. Squad members are a core part of the gameplay. I think FromSoft really likes Spirit Ashes, otherwise they wouldn't keep adjusting them in patches and adding more in the DLC. Like if they didn't like Spirit Ashes and they were like, that was a mistake, why'd they add more? There are a ton of summons in the DLC, specifically summons inside the boss arena, you know, like Jolan against Mesmer and Egon against Bale. And like, I really think party RPG is the direction they want to go in, and God, I hope it is. Full party FromSoft game would be so sick. Like, imagine having Alex and Nefeli for the whole game, and like how much more you would like those characters. When you summon your own real life buddies, they can just slot in for one of your squad members. That way the bosses maintain the same health and aggression regardless of how many people you summon. Like, it's always the same fight. They don't have to just arbitrarily scale numbers up, just something I don't love. It doesn't make the fights feel better, it just makes them feel weird. Anyway, we beat Radahn. Now, you've seen Death Knights with 1 big axe and Death Knights with 2 small axes, but have you considered a Death Knight with no axes? That's terrible. Damn, dude, get an axe. Later, I'll discover that the best way to beat NPCs is with the 2 medium axes, but right now, I basically just assumed they're worthless. They kinda are, unless you're fighting NPCs. I thought we only needed 1 kick, so I kicked the Mimic a lot. Kicking is cool. Moose hangs out on the water, lightning is good on the water, but damn, Moose has spindly legs. It gets to heal, and oh boy, I do hate that. It still doesn't hurt us. Obviously, we have full armor. Wait, does the Death Knight armor suck? Yeah, so the Death Knight armor sucks. It looks neat, but it doesn't have good poise. I'm not a poise pervert or anything. I don't injure my eyes looking at poise numbers, but 51 is apparently the good number, I guess. In my experience, 51 is just a number to see if your armor is gonna block damage well or not. Armor sets that have good poise also have good defensive numbers in general. Death Knight has 47, so it's not quite good. I wouldn't call it terrible, but not quite that good. And again, I know poise isn't a defense stat, but like, it's easy to just kind of look at one number and then just assume the rest of the stuff. Carry a manor, I hope we can. We certainly aren't carrying a heavy load of armor. Loretta is on a pond. Lightning really is the most blessed damage type. Anytime there's water or rain, it gets buffed. Never gets nerfed, only buffed. Damn, let's do the optional Ronnie quest that is mandatory. This feels really out of character considering the Death Knights are Godwin stands and Ronnie ain't. Guess sometimes you gotta sit at the table in the presence of your ops. Incel Rivermain, skip. Astel, what's that on the ground?
Clear water.
Okay, so Renala, Astel, Moose, Melania, Elden Beast, Relana met here, Putrescent Knight, and I am sure there are more I am missing. So many remembrance bosses just give you a little extra lightning with your lightning when they hang out on the water. We got grabbed, but if you quit out, it doesn't count as a death. Remember, we got grabbed by Astel. We were gonna die, but if you quit out, you don't have to count that death. You don't have to count any deaths, because we don't count deaths anymore. Because whatever, I don't care. No stance break, of course. Remember, we're just kinda worse than a Great hammer, which is a huge bummer. I wish we had a way to get stance pressure.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Oh hey, Valiant Gargoyles, also on the water. Finally we get a stance break, killing the first one before the second one comes in. Also, yeah, brought the Mimic tier. I was doing a thing where we have to die 5 times to a boss or something, but then I remembered, I don't care. People who don't want me to use a Spirit Ash just don't want me to use one, ever. So fuck them. Who cares? This boss sucks. Let's skip it and get to the good ones. Fia's champs aren't the good ones, but wow, more water. What am I, in Hoenn? Too much water is such an old dead meme, but hey, I actually agree. What do you mean I need 3 water type HMs just to get through the game? That does suck. IGN was right. There's too much water in Hoenn. Speaking of suck, Fia's champs, I brought the Mimic, I made it use the twin axes, and we're dashing in with the big axe. Easy win, let's do the capital.
I keep having this nagging feeling that I've forgotten something.
Hey, if you forgot it, it probably wasn't all that important.
Off to the Elden Beast.
One day you're going to die.
Some people are a little eager, like the Erdtree Guardian who joins us for the Godfrey fight. You can die too. No shade. We'll jump the piss boy and shock him. You might say, he's not made of piss. Oh yeah? Why is he weak to lightning then? Because he's made of water, piss water. Called Tom McDonald because that's facts. Morgott up next. First phase has no water, but then he just hits that Hawk Tua and spits on the arena. Get it wet, my dude. It's always the repressed religious fundamentalists who give the best head. Anyway, it gets easier in phase 2 because we do more damage. Like damn, lightning damage is getting the Hawk Tua, getting glazed by FromSoft. Hey, let's get that lightning spell casting focus by baiting the little Lindell soldier into the Fortnitified manor. Grab that gravel stone. That's gonna give a nice little boost to our Knight's Lightning Spear, a spell that's, you know, it's probably fine. For Harris Land seems like old Donnie and Robert, the bear was dead when I found it, Kennedy, are gonna try and pitch to make America healthy. Sure, but the best way to make America healthy would be like raising wages. Literally, the biggest barrier to health is time. Exercise, cooking healthy meals, going to the doctor, all things that take time. If people are working extra hours, they're not doing that. Nixon wanted to go to a 4-day work week. The radical socialist that he was. Also get rid of food deserts. I think the Republican plan is just to make vaccines illegal, so I don't think he can do a whole lot worse than that. Should be a layup. Oh, and if anyone is worried about destroying jobs, we have too many jobs. There are more people working 2 or more jobs than there are unemployed people. If wages were good enough for people to live, the unemployed would just slot into the jobs given up by the multiple job workers. Again, layup. Fire Giant would be great at layups. He is quite tall. We're just dashing into the toes, slashing him up. The axe does standard damage though, not slash for some reason. Phase 1 is easy enough. Phase 2 starts with some proper spacing, which like, hey, I am good at the spacing. I just hate that I have to do it. It's an extra thing. Then we play Dark Souls, specifically the dark gray souls of the Fire Giant's feet. He's a big old tree and we chop him down, ending with a nice satisfying critical hit. Set that tree on fire. We've got a Faram Azula to run through. Right before the duo, we max out the gravel seal for 253 damage scaling. Oof. Test the lightning spears out on the Godskin duo. We get a stance break with just the spell. Hey, let's go back to Fextra Life really quick. So, this is all very confusing. You're right to be confused by it. Each projectile does 5 stance damage or 9.5 when charged. That seems like too much because charged Knight's Lightning Spear has 7 projectiles, which would mean 63-ish, more like 65-ish stance pressure. And the stance pressure is good, but it's not that good. Now, this also says that despite the total projectile count, it hits 1 + 2 times. So I think that means 3? I don't know why they wouldn't say 3. I don't know why they're making us do a little math puzzle on Fextra Life, but if that is 3, that's 15 stance damage uncharged, and then charged would be 27.75. That means that the charged version actually does more stance damage than a jumping heavy from our Great Axe, which is pretty good. It actually does more stance pressure than a jumping heavy with a Great Hammer, which is even better. All that paired with some pretty good range, pretty great damage, and a boost to its damage from both the Gravelstone Seal and the Death Knight set makes this spell pretty damn good. Basically, the stance pressure is quite good, and I'm not saying it's quite good for a spell. It's flatly quite good. Better than the axe. I want to be so crystal clear. I'm saying this spell rips. It rips shit. It rules. It rocks. It's good. It's great. It's better than most weapons. I really hate the Phil hates spell meme. Plainly untrue. I glaze up the good ones. Remember when I said Fire Serpent was really good? No, you don't, because you only remember that I said Mesmer's Orb was bad. Because it is bad. Anyway, wouldn't actually figure that out for a minute, so let's fight Maliketh with the axe I don't like. We rolled bad and died, then we rolled right and won. Gideon gets dashed down and we fight Godfrey too, who also is weakest to lightning. Oh no, did Godfrey piss his pants? No, he murdered us because I thought the axe had better pressure and got greedy. What a shocker, right? Thankfully, I learned from my mistakes the second time and did the exact same thing again and died again. Really wanted to try and jump those rocks with the Ash of War at some point. It looks so cool. It just kind of sucks. We even died a third time. Godfrey's washing our ass, not in the fun way like that fanfic I read. I will say, it feels like the inputs are getting eaten. I checked the controller to see if it was dying, but nah.
Please, no Johns.
No, I know it sounds like John's, but there are times where my character just stands still, and I swear I was pressing buttons. Fourth attempt, we managed to beat the man who is weak to lightning with the lightning build. Go us! Final fight against Radahn, and here we cook. Dash around him and hit hard with the dodge on the first jump, and then he just tries it again, and we hit him again. Break him down as he does the hammer slammer. That's all she wrote. Time for another boss on the water. It really just is too easy. Except our spacing is bad. Not for the dash. That spacing was fine. My spacing with basic attacks is bad. Can I be real? I wasn't feeling this one. I was in a bad mood the whole time we were playing. Maybe it was something about the build. Maybe I was just grumpy. I've been kind of grumpy playing this game a lot lately. I'm not playing my best when I'm not having fun. This wasn't fun for me. It was kind of meh. It was a meh time. That's fine. This is my job. Sometimes jobs are meh. I missed the frog. Frog was fun. Frog is dead. Long live the Death Knight. Let's go make the other bosses dead, right? Solid needle drops at least. I mean, that's a given. Corey and I have immaculate taste, but we're really cooking today. Placiduous Axe first, we've mentioned it before, but FromSoft loves lightning damage so much that even the big bad lightning monster only has 40% lightning resistance. We hit the tail and managed to get a nice little break before phase 2. Love that for us. Also seems as though he's focusing on the mimic instead of us, though with hitboxes like these, it doesn't really matter where he's aiming. He manages to get away without a stance break and it's over. We just get hit by the stray lightning and oh, never mind, we made it out. Gotten kind of consistent at just running away from the Omega Breath. I'd prefer to consistently get him to crash into the wall, but it's fine. I think that they took that out of the game. A couple more hits and we win. After crunching the numbers, I found out we should actually get more of a stat boost by getting Radahn's Great Rune. Not totally sure I crunched those numbers right. I was not a math major. I used to be good at math though, then I went to a scam school the government shut down 2 months after I graduated. Womp womp. Castle's whole time, let's give the lightning spear a bit more of a proper showing. The goons can't handle our spear, then we knock Niall down as he's powering up with just the lightning spears. This is so clean, as long as we don't get greedy. Yeah, okay, I died. Intentionally though. It's so we could use the Radahn Great Rune without wasting a rune arc.
Sure, Jan.
Next fight I do the same thing, but this time I summon the other Death Knight. 2 Death Knights are better than 1, twice the fun, thrice the axes. I give the Mimic the axes I don't like as much. I also don't like the other axe.
Hey, Mr. Grumpy Gills.
Time to remember to do Rykard. Thought I forgot about it? No, Boggart is immune to damage. Concerning. Zoom to the Godskin Noble and fully wash him. It's tough to get in those folds, but if we have a long shaft, we should be fine. We're also about to fully convert this to a Knight Lightning Spear spam build. But first, I want to get the Godfrey icon from Godfrey. He just rawly does the wind blast, without a wind-up tornado.
I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
Thank God there's so much running around to get stuff to go to the consecrated snowfield, otherwise I would have forgotten the Rykard fight. Moving on. Our lovely Ash of War almost gets us cooked by the perfumer in the Alberneric village? That's so embarrassing. Then the Penguin Noble decides he's immune to Knight's Lightning Spear and does a lot of damage. So much damage. I get that there was a bleed proc in there, but does the Blade Beam bullet of Reduvia hit that hard on this dummy thick health bar? This armor set sucks. It really does. I know you think it's Drip or Riz or Brad or whatever, but also no, it isn't. The real Death Knights have 6 skeletal ghost wings. There's a normal ass knight who fell into Willy Wonka's chocolate river. It's just dirty. And we have a skeleton face.
It's spooky.
Second try we win, but losing to a penguin noble gotta be the most embarrassing thing of the run so far. There's something worse later, but you gotta wait for it. Give us that watch time. And it just happens at the end of the run. It's not like a conspiracy to cheese watch time. It's just a weird thing that happens then. That's how time works. Speaking of time, it's Smoke time. I yeet my lightning, and then I axe him for better stance pressure. It's worse stance pressure, but I thought it was better. Moog's a pretty easy fight for me. Phase 2 kicks in and we just spam lightning some more. Don't even need to charge it for decent damage. Though, charging it doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt us, at least. It hurts Moog. It's supposed to. The run to Fortisax is not eventful, but the fight against them is. We spam the spell. Sure, but they have 80% lightning resistance, but also they're on water and take extra damage on the head, so it balances out. That's not the interesting part. The interesting part comes because despite not being all that aggressive, and despite using a spell, not a weapon, we get a stance break. Now before all you spell enjoyers start saying, see, spell's good, you sick freaks think Rock Sling has good stance pressure. I've rocked slings. They don't break 40 stance. Remember the chart. If we go back to the Knight's Lightning Spear, you can see water AoE deals an additional 2 stance damage, which triggers 2 times, which means that we're getting extra stance damage on the head because the head takes extra stance damage, and then extra stance damage from the water on our thing that already has good stance damage. All those multipliers stack up together and make it so that even though this is NG+, and even though we're not all that aggressive, we're leaving plenty of time between the hits, we get a stance break on Fortisax and finish it with a crit. This spell is nuts. To quote better than Ezra, it's good. Before we descend the Erdtree, we max out our Erdtree seal, which has much better scaling than Gravel Seal. We're at 60 faith, so, it's worse. Loretta gets lit up, stance broken out of her great bow. If it's so great, how come it never hits, loser? Melania is last. Does the lightning spear fully cheese her? No, but it's really close to fully cheesing her. You know what? Yeah, it fully cheeses her. Melania cheese doesn't have to be consistent. Get it like a 70% consistency rate, and you can call it Melania cheese and upload it to YouTube Shorts. Back up, throw lightning, get waterfouled, because despite pressing the sprint button, my guy didn't sprint twice. That happened twice. Stamina was there, no sprint though. Don't know what happened. When all of the buttons on the controller work, it's super easy. Try to bait her onto the lake for more damage than in phase 2, hit her with the onion to get a bonkers amount of stance pressure for free, crit her, and hit her into the second phase. Full cheese, as long as the sprint button works. Time for the DLC. Sorry there's no media literacy check today. Those are only for the ones where we grab the shadows. Today, it's just a boss rush.
Hey, a little less conversation, a little more action, please.
First up, the Dancing Lion, who has mostly lightning resistance and magic resistance, but we don't do magic. If you get gobbled and heal, he gets to heal. But like, I needed the flask because I was gobbled. Just don't get gobbled. Back up, throw lightning. Wait, no, not you, Dancing Lion. Don't throw lightning at me, that's annoying.
So that's what that feels like.
Thankfully, he switches to the wind phase, which blows for him, then the ice phase, which is cool for me. Get the stance break, heal up, and finish him off. Probably could have finished him off while he was down, but don't get greedy. I have learned that. I won't learn it next time. So remember, I'm kind of not feeling this one. I really just kind of want it to be over. The spell is good, but it's just not fun. There's no panache. Rolana's on the water. It's better on the water. Carrion Slicer is fun because you play the game. This is just boring. Rolana down. I'm just scrubbing through the VOD till I see a boss health bar. And right now, okay, it's Gaius time. Can you guess what we do? Die. We died. He's pretty great at rushing down a caster. And also, I kind of pressed forward. Tilted even. I really just wanted this one to be over. This was even after the vacation too. What a bummer, right? Lightning spam, but do it better. I'm cutting out so much. Please tell my therapist I'm trying to cut out the angry parts of the video. At least the voiceover part is shorter. Ready for me to be sad? Oh, okay. You know what this Ash of War is good for? You know what this Ash of War is good for? This fucking sucks. This shit fucking sucks. I hate this shit. I hate this shit. I want to go home. Putrescent Knight is on the water. If you were curious about whether or not the stance break stops the phase 2 transition fire thing. Oh, that just keeps going? Okay. I guess I thought he was launching it. It does not. Knowing that, we go into the second fight where we stance break him out of phase 2 and don't go for the kill because of course the fire is going to keep going. But this time it didn't? What? We could have killed him! Whatever, it's done. We did it, I guess? Jolan has been picked up. Let's go drop into Mesmer with some lightning bolts. Unfortunately, he's fighting the Mimic right where my best girl is. And oh, good, now he's trying to murder me. We can get in there. With 3 different people to chase down, it doesn't matter how long Mesmer's Impaler is, he's just kind of screwed. Even in phase 2, when he gets the big snakes, he's just getting blasted down. Doesn't stand a chance. Big Flower is on the water. We have a ranged attack that homes in on the head and does better on the water. Seriously, a staggering amount of damage. Do not take shelter under a tree in a thunderstorm. That's actually good advice. Swap it to the axe for the crits into the next phases. The ultimate explosion in phase 2 is hard to dodge, but if you just kill the flower before it does it again, not a problem. Okay, weirdly, Anna gets in on the lightning really well. If you're doing this run to counter NPCs, it is the double axe blink bolt. Didn't know that yet. I'll learn it. Later, stick around. Not choosing watch time, it's just how linear storytelling works. Maybe one of these days I'll make a video like Memento. Mediri is on the water, which means we break her stance in 5 tosses. It's seriously over so fast. I actually checked the timestamp. This was a 40-second fight from dropping in to dropping out. Spell good. Ramina grabs us right away. Her grab instantly rots you, but like, I kinda like it. It's freeing. Okay, now I don't have to worry about the rod meter, just my health bar, which I was already worried about. Yeah, you shocked? We back up and throw lightning bolts. What a concept. Can't wait to see what we do against Midra. Wait, first it has to work against Jory. We had a dickens of a time going through that dank light catacomb, so we only had 2 flasks, and maybe I should have focused on crowd control, but I wanted to be done. Remember how I just want this to be done anyway. When we have full flasks, spamming works great. There's water in here. Water makes the spell better. Okay, now Midra. Phase 1, we use the axe. It's great at hitting feeble old men who are in a lot of pain. Phase 2, we get bonked hard, but then start spamming. I really wanted to stun lock him out of the phase transition, because if you do, he just doesn't get to phase 2 moveset ever. Also, figured I should probably swap that golden scarab talisman back to the physical defense talisman, but whoops, he hit me. I guess he won't even let you menu in a fight. He's so oppressive. The Mimic is not pulling aggro very well in this fight until it gets grabbed. Mindra keeps a nice 20 seconds of iframes out of the grab. I know they have to be there, but like, do they? Do they really? Enya Ilum stairs are harder than 90% of the DLC bosses, and that is not an exaggeration. Radahn is the only harder boss. We remembered to do the Ansbach quest, so yay. He's here for Letta. We hit everyone with lightning bolts. Moving on. It's time for Rad Daniel. The damage is okay, but being at a distance makes it hard for Ansbach to keep up and pull aggro. His only job, make it to phase 2 pretty fast, and then died. Attempt 2, we get a lot of gravity roar, which is pretty great. It leaves us ample time for some bolts, or even time to drop the other Death Knight. Phase 2 is a problem, mostly because by the time we charge up our bolts, he can start up any number of attacks that make him fully invincible, or at least give him super duper fuck you armor. He grabs the Mimic. That's totally fine. It was almost dead at that point anyway. On our second attempt, we get him to jump, but with the dodge on the second explosion, so when he dashes in, we're toast. Number 3, Zap. Back up. There isn't much more to say. That's all we do. With the melee builds, I can talk about bob and weaving, when to go for punishes. This is backing up and hitting the cast button, then running away until he looks at someone else. The ranged stance pressure is great. The damage is great. It's just not fun for me. So yeah, maybe I need to make peace with it. Even when spells are good, I do hate them. Rune Arc Detour. We get the fun Rune Arcs from Altus. Apparently Moore has Rune Arcs in his bell bearing.
I'm sorry, little one.
Oh. He's good. He's fine. We can just buy them from him. Good. Back at it again. We get pounded over and over again until this run. We go in. Ansbach is right behind us. Stupid shockwave of the meteor hits us, and then we get domed by Lion's Claw. Really just failing to dodge, and Ansbach is walking around slowly. We're low on rune arcs, and you don't get to quit out if you summon Ansbach. He wants us to lose this rune arc. I'm convinced of that. He's throwing. We're not even through phase 1, but we are down to 2 Estus flasks. So you know what? Kill him, Radahn. Kill Ansbach. I'll even sever out the Mimic tier so he won't distract you. Phase 2 starts and I'm on the other side of the world. Ansbach is so scared just because I'm offering him up as a human sacrifice to Radahn. Okay, so we need to be close enough to Radahn that he swings at Ansbach, but not at us. Now, before you say, oh, use the figure severer, why would I have picked that up? I don't have to have that. It's an extra button press. Before you get all mad about us doing a human sacrifice, remember, Ansbach is a Moog guy. This is a regular Tuesday for him. As soon as he dies, we quit out and save the rune arc. So close close to losing it. Thanks for dying, Ansbach. Maybe you can do your goddamn job this time. Eventually he gets his shit together. Just takes a few more runs. Run in! Back up. He does the lion's claw, but I wait for him to do a second one. He doesn't. He input reads and only does a second one if you're going to be stuck in an animation, because he's an asshole. Very early stance break, not ideal, but maybe it is. Like, it's so early that we can get the pressure back up before phase 2 starts. Let's rip into phase 2 and just keep doing it for the nuke. It's hitting you, might as well get a hit off while you get hit. He roars us in, but gets mad at Ansbach, so we don't have to deal with the undodgeable follow-up. Love that. Super combo, and he's about to grab us. We break him before he can. Not actually important. Nobody ever gets grabbed twice. Like, never ever. He likes to turn damage off. Hell, so would I if that was an option. After the meteor, he makes a nuke, and we have a couple of flasks. Almost bite it, but make it just fine. Now it's just gravy. I decided we could totally clown on the Dragon Man with our worst method of attack, the twin axes. And oh shit, yeah, these rip against NPCs. It's just enough poise damage to stagger them, get away, dash back in. Works incredibly well, and I really like it. If I ever decide to do PvP like a sicko, I'll use these. But also, no, I don't think I will. Dragon Man 2 gets blended again. This time we dodge through the blade beams too. It looks even cooler. I mean, that's really how I'd characterize the whole Death Knight build. It looks cool, it's not fun. Hey, remember that super embarrassing thing I talked about earlier? Welcome to the Dragon Peak Drake fight. Lightning should hit the head. And then, like 4 hits smack us right before, back to back. And we're on the horse and we can't move, so we die. Without getting the grace, because seriously, who dies to the Jagged Peak Drake? Alright, embarrassing moment over. Back again, we stance break it in like 3 hits, and get stun locked by the other dragon until we die. Okay. This time, the horse dies to nothing, and then we have to heal it. I lightning the other dragon, and now our lightning bolts don't do any damage anymore, I guess. They just whiff. The fire hitboxes move at incorrect angles and kill our horse, so I quit out and retry again. This time, the damage is good again. They're not just randomly missing, until the fire breath stun locks us. This isn't like a one-shot scenario, but if we die before there's time to react, it might as well be. The humiliation ends. We fight Bale, the one fight I will never get sick of. I mean, like, goddamn, it's just so good. It should probably be an A tier, right? Like, Knight's Lightning Spear is really good. I don't really review good anymore. Technically, I never did. I have vibe with this. I don't like the Ash of War on the axe. I don't like the power stance to axe moveset. If I can't change the Ash of War, I better love the rest of the weapon. And I didn't. The spell's really spammable. It's Faith Night Comet. But I didn't think Night Comet was very fun either. If you want to enjoy the novelty of trivializing some bosses who stomped you, I get that. Go nuts. But I'm putting it in B tier because I just can't say honestly with a straight face that this was nearly as fun as pancaking people as the Frog or as the Omen Killer. It was more like Mesmer. Flashy, not very fun. Again, not a personal attack on anyone who enjoys this stuff. Just not my thing. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, subscribe for more. We're making more of these all the time. Join the Patreon to support the channel and follow us on Twitch to watch it live.